Scooby-Doo Spooky Swamp is the last Scooby game ever made, and that makes me sad. This game came out in 2010. That's ridiculous. This game is a freshman in high school now, and that is terrifying. And I'm not counting you, LEGO Dimensions, you barely count. And you don't even play as a copyrighted character in this game. If you couldn't tell, I love the Scooby games for some reason. Honestly, I don't even know why. And I'm a general fan of the Scooby IP, but lately I haven't seen much love for the franchise. We had a show nobody liked, and then they made it again. They had a movie release that was okay at best. And every year I'm huffing huge amounts of copium waiting to see Haunted Frights remastered or a new Scooby game. You know how everyone's frothing at the mouth for a Switch 2? Yeah, I'm that, but for Scooby. And I watched the newest Nintendo Direct and I saw this. What? You get in a movie with LeBron one time, and now we just get to make a video game about them? We had Batman, motherfucker. So this made me mad, and now that I finally decided to post on this platform again, I thought, why not yap about the bookend of the Scooby-Doo video game franchise? How about I talk about Scooby-Doo Spooky Swamp? But here's the thing. This game is a sequel to another game called Frights, and both were made by the Iron Giant or whatever this is. And I grew up with both of these games, and they were shorter from what I remember, so I was like, you know, why not both? I feel like that's important to play to understand this game. Everyone already rips off other YouTubers' ideas, so why not do a sequelitis on a Scooby game? So first of all, let's talk about the first game first, Frights. So this game came out in 2009 on all these consoles, and it's a platformer action-adventure game. I played this game on the PC this time around, so that might alter opinions here, but this game looks pretty good for the year it came out. The art style is super odd. I'm not the biggest fan. Sort of a pup named Scooby-Doo vibe going on here. But the animation is fantastic. This game has the best animation for Scooby in a video game I've ever seen. Like, they really added some subtle details and expressions here. I was so impressed. I was like, hell, if this is what the game is serving as an appetizer, then let's get to the main course. So I started playing, and it was actually kind of fun. The levels had simple platforming, some simple puzzles, and you beat up a bunch of bad guys. Also, this time you can play as the entire gang instead of just Beavis and Butthead over here. And each character has their own special ability where you have to switch between them to continue forward. There's even a mode where you can go back to all the characters and go on paths you couldn't before, kind of like free play mode. And that's when I realized this is a Lego game. Like, seriously, the more you think about it, this game is straight up a Lego game without the Lego building. You have basic platforming, beat 'em up sections, simple puzzles, areas that can only be interacted with certain characters. It's all like a Lego game. But wait, there's more. There's a free play mode where you can also play as the villains. In-game currency can be used to buy these various characters and costumes. A collectible required for 100% completion with the reward of more currency. A sound effect to help locate said collectible. There's a bar to measure the progress of how much currency you got in a level. You can only play as a max of 2 people with no split screen because guess what? We old people had to deal with that. The list goes on. And yeah, it's not like Lego games came up with this stuff or anything, but it's just so funny to see how these games behave so similarly. And this isn't really a bad thing. It sort of just goes to show how effective a design this kind of game has and how it can be fun. But let's take a step back and look at this game in a little bit more detail. The levels themselves aren't horrible. Like, okay, environments and anything like that are great. I mean, it feels like I'm in a haunted boat. It sounds like I'm surrounded by theater kids. It looks like I'm in hell. But the design of the levels can get so dull. Like, it feels like they're taking forever. And I think the reason is that this game doesn't give enough variety with what you can do. Like, chase levels are really cool. I love them. It makes the bad guy feel super intimidating. But they're so short and seldomly show up. There are some levels that feel like all you can do is walk to the end and meanwhile beat up the same enemy 40,000 times. There's like 1 or 2 puzzles, but put puzzles in quotation marks, please, because you might as well just be walking, except, oh, now we gotta climb a pole. Now push a box. Cut the blue wire. Also, for as much fighting as there is in this game, there is no engaging element to mowing down different enemies. You just go up and hit all of them. But then I realized something. Shooting is overpowered. That's right, just as every colonizer and tyrannical ruler has ever realized, shooting is the meta. Because here's the thing, it takes the same number of hits to kill each enemy, right? Regardless of your method. And every time an enemy gets hit, it recoils backward. But the shooting is just as backward, so it reaches enemy again and death. Furthermore, the gimmick of an enemy is usually the fact that it'll try to hit you no matter what, so you can't just spam the attack button. But shooting is OP, so you can just 360 no-scope that motherfucker across the map and send him all the way to Atlantis. Now, even though shooting is fantastic, it also makes the gameplay incredibly boring. And if you end up playing as a character without the meta, it's so insanely frustrating. It is mind-boggling to me that shooting is this OP and the devs just kept punching and kicking as if they stood a chance. Even when gang members charge up for an attack, it doesn't compare to the meta. Even when the enemy is designed for shooting not to be the meta, it is still the meta. Whether it comes from Velma's cannons that shoot drone missiles or
Shaggy's fucking laser gun,
it is the meta. And speaking of the costumes, they're absolutely wonderful. At their worst, they're quirky, but also allow for other characters to earn the meta or get nerfed. Why is this a costume? Now, each character gets 2 costumes, but the best costume, unsurprisingly, is Ninja Scooby. Every time Scooby shows up as a martial artist in these kind of games, it's fantastic. But this is what Ninja Scooby is supposed to be. The real Ninja Scooby.
perfection.
So here's the thing. First of all, he has the meta. Second of all, he can use every other character's ability. He can parkour, use a grappling. Oh, hey, that's another LEGO game similarity. And he can hack the government computers. See all these characters? Third of all, you can't use Fred's ability. Wait, what? So this costume is imperfect because for some reason, you can use every other character's abilities except Fred's. It's so random. Why can Scooby magically just get to unlock all these other things, but he can't push a box? This guy has pencil lead for arms and a Great Dane can't do it. Now, the reason why this is actually annoying is because changing characters in this game is so fucking slow. You gotta hold down the button and wait like you're at the DMV until it finally shows up. And if you get hit, you can just say goodbye to your time because you just wasted it. So you're cruising for a bruise and playing the game, and then it's like I got whiplash at my desk. And that's the best way to summarize this game, a whiplash. Like, there are a lot of fun things to do, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get knocked back into the real world. I would say I like this game, and then I think it's fine. There was actually a lot more I remember about this game than I thought, so it was very nostalgic as well. I was excited to play Spooky Swamp, see if it's fun, as I remember, and see if it left the Scooby games on a high note.
5 hours later.
Spooky Swamp is the most anticlimactic ending to a franchise, next to Rise of Skywalker. Okay, no, I can't even say that. This game is truly unsatisfying because of it just being the last real Scooby game, and there's a few reasons. Reasons? I have a few reasons. 1. It's way too short. Hey, TLDR, this is like the main issue with the whole game right here. This game has 2 worlds and a hub world that is also the 3rd world, kind of? I beat this game in 5 hours. That's all there is. I didn't use cheats. I didn't use speedrunning tech. Because there is none. I just dilly-dallied my way through the game, and all of a sudden the credits rolled, and now I made a sandwich. 2. This game is boring. All you do is walk around the world, which sounds cool, but it's not when it's this size. This game is no longer a LEGO game split up into levels anymore. It's acting like a collectathon more than a platformer. You're in the town or the mountain, and that's just where you'll be. You gotta keep going back and forth, solving the same puzzles to get to the other side and advance the plot. Speaking of which, 3. Where's the quality? Now, we gotta put an asterisk next to this point because I played in the PC version of this game as well, and it looked so bad. I feel like I would have remembered this as a kid. But then again, have you seen my favorite Scooby game? Like, I might have dementia, I don't know. Look at Fred, look at him, he's the monster! But also this game is just kind of buggy. So graphics are one thing in which quality should be assured, but you know what else should be as well? Maybe the whole game, I don't know, that's just a thought. So this game kept a lot of elements from the first game, which, I mean, why waste time? They got mouths to food. I don't know. Like, Velma's computer hacks are different. It's Simon Says Now instead of a Repeat After Me song. And to give this game a little positivity right here, I like this more. It makes it a little bit more engaging, but this game makes an insane and radical change. Shooting is no longer the meta. Ah, great, now this game is so unrealistic. So the devs must have seen how OP shooting was, so now they made it so hand-to-hand combat is stronger and takes less hits to beat enemies. But the trade-off is that you're in more dangerous situations. Now this is cool, you actually get to choose what fighting style you want to have. But What? This game no longer has the enemies come... This game no longer has the characters come at you full force like they're charging the trenches. We gotta play the waiting game. All you gotta do is wait for them to have an opening, attack them, and then repeat. The risk is that you just suck at throwing the water bucket or the can of beans. So we went from MLG Pro to bar fights. Really cool. Punching is the new meta. Or is it? Because a lot of enemies don't actually even care about the new damage boost and forcefully has you hit them in a pattern. So the meta doesn't even fucking matter. Does that sound fun? Doesn't that just make it a grand old time? This game also added a camera, which is good, and a magnifying glass, which is bad. So bad, in fact, they had you only use it in the latter half of the game, and I don't even understand how it works after I've used it. Disclaimer, I'm an idiot and played this game in the PC version, which may have resulted in this take. Coley's not responsible for being wrong. I feel like I'm being too negative. Let me say some nice stuff about the game. Man, I made it hard for myself. The soundtrack is really good. I like the ambient ice cave core.wave personally. I also like the new way to find clues where you look in the room, but then they also have this little twisty puzzle. The chase scenes are peak. They're so much longer. I love it. And the things that they have the monsters do make it so fun. I wish there were more than just 2. Okay, so this isn't like a pro, but it's not really a con. They made the costumes like build your own character from Lego games now. So you unlock them through masks and other stuff. I don't personally care about this, but it's nothing for me to yell into a microphone at, so. And that's the list of the redeeming qualities. It ends there. The bosses in this game are super whooper boring. In fact, it's probably because they're all the same. You fight enemies while you wait for them. You wait for them to have an opening. You throw something to end the boss fight. Yippee! This is the game to end all Scooby games. Woo! And the story is so bad. You know what? I'm done. I don't care anymore. All right, you guys get it. I don't like this game. I usually prefer reviewing games I love, and I thought this would be a good game, but it's kind of not. I'm salty, all right? Scooby's been getting shafted lately, okay? I want to see Scooby back up on top, or at least have Scooby games end on a dub, because this is just disrespectful. So play first Frights. If you want that, that's a fine game. But Spooky Swamp, we're like super swamped. But here's the big thing, is that there are so many fantastic games that look so niche or so silly, but are actually made with tons of care and are super fun to play as an adult or a child. And seeing a franchise that is made for general audiences fall on the wayside is very disheartening. I think a lot of Scooby games have incredible potential, and I always want to see them do well. But unfortunately, that isn't always the case. So while this is the last Scooby game right now, I still hope that someone is out there making the next Scooby game, but for now, we get trash.